Hello, we are The Promise of Love, bringing to you The Love Effect,
a podcast that brings you real insight and real stories about real relationships. All right, well, this is Rob Hollis, and we are using a slightly different format in our podcast this evening because my dear wife, Winona, is actually dialing in remotely from across the house. Introducing my wife, Winona.
Hello.
So yeah, we're doing this format, this setup. It's sort of a test. We're doing our episode this way, a little different this time, because we also said that we're going to start doing some interviews. We might not do them as often as our dialogue and our interactive or discussions. We're trying out this product called Squadcast, and if it goes well, we're going to keep using it. So we're trying it out just between the two of us today. Honey, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. What should we talk about today?
Let's talk about stories.
Stories. Well, I happen to have a story for you. You know, this story is about Olivia. You don't know Olivia, but Olivia, she is the queen of online dating. And, you know, she's one of these ladies who's got this natural, effortless beauty about her. And that works both for you and against you in online dating, because whenever she puts her profile picture out there, no matter what dating service she's on, she almost instantly gets flooded with all these contacts from all kinds of different guys.
How so?
And, well, you know, that's both a blessing and a curse, you know? Sometimes, when I say all kinds of different guys, a lot of the time it's the guys that you don't want to hear from. They're just responding to the picture. And sometimes it's the guys that actually they are very respectful and respectable. And she has had to develop this filter that helps her weed out, you know, the good ones from the bad ones. And so she's actually gotten very good at applying this filter of hers.
And what kind of filter is that?
It's just personal experience. I mean, when you have a number of guys just reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, why don't you come on over to my place for drinks and fun," or just commenting on how beautiful you look or how sexy you look, without even implying that they read the profile. It's clear that they're just after one thing whenever they reach out. And so she filters those into a delete and block, delete and block, delete and block. She got very good with that cadence, delete and block, delete and block. Because these guys, they just weren't the kind of guys that she wanted to go out with. But there were some that were actually very nice. And she actually went out on a lot of dates. And for the most part, she enjoyed these dates, but this one in particular, it was both the best date ever and the worst date ever.
How is that possible? Could be good and bad at the same time.
Well, they weren't good and bad at the same time. It was a dream come true at first. You see, she had talked back and forth with this guy, exchanging messages, even got on the phone a few times. And whenever he decided to ask her out, it wasn't just a, "Hey, we should meet up somewhere." Oh no, this guy was so suave and debonair. He said to her, "You know, I'm going to take you to a special dinner if that's okay with you." And she thought, sure, why not? And he suggested this well-known 5-star restaurant. So I want to take you there. You have inspired me to want to go there. I've always wanted to go there. I've heard some amazing things about everything on their menu. I want this first date of ours to be so memorable that you don't ever want to have another first date again. And she starts swooning with that. But still, she says to herself, well, if he wants to take me there, that's okay. And she suggested that they meet there. And he says, no, you don't understand. I really want to do this right. I want to be dressed nice. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to be your date, not just some guy that you meet up with.
Okay.
She's like, okay. So he says, tell you what, you might be uncomfortable with me going to your place already. I don't know where you live, and I can understand that. So you name the place where I will pick you up. I will be there early. I'll give you a ride to dinner. This will be great. So she actually chose a hotel because a hotel is public, it's well lit, it's anonymous, and she chose one that was not so shabby that it makes it look like she wants something, but not so high end that it's pretentious. Someplace that she could comfortably wait in the lobby. And she did so. And sure enough, he showed up early. It was raining cats and dogs that night, but with the shelter of the awning of the entrance of the hotel, he was able to let her into the car. He opened the door for her, of course, let her in, went around to the other side. They got to this amazing restaurant. With the valet parking, she was also able to get out without any drops of rain touching her hair. And she took him by the arm, and they walked in. Reservations were set. And he says to her, I'd like to do this a traditional way. And she says, what does that mean? That means they only got one menu. And he also says to her, from our conversations, I think I know you pretty well. I'd like to order for you. She says, whoa, this is some test, right?
So he had that much confidence in knowing who she was to go ahead and order her meal for her?
Indeed, he did.
Interesting.
Yeah, right? And so, first of all, he orders the best champagne on the menu because she loves champagne. She had mentioned that before. And indeed, this champagne was awesome. And, before, you get a couple of glasses each, right? By the time they got halfway through the champagne bottle, the bubbles started going to her head. He knows that she loved filet mignon, she loves tuna, and they had separate appetizers of these. And he says, you know what? We're going to go all out. We're going to go ahead and get both. And we can sample both of those because they're both amazing. So they got both of those appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
He ordered for her this lobster tail and this Chilean sea bass combination with this amazing white wine sauce. Exactly what she was in the mood for. She'd been having a taste for this. For himself, he got a filet and lobster tail as well. She had no idea what the prices were, but it didn't matter because, she didn't even get to see the menu. At the end, she's thinking, wow, it was light. It wasn't too filling. It wasn't heavy. It was so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Dessert. A light chocolate mousse that was just out of this world. And everything seemed to be going fine. Until... Hold on, let me take a quick moment to encourage you to find true love. That's right, we have published an online course, The 5 Steps to Find True Love. And we conduct a weekly raffle for our new podcast subscribers to win a free lifetime access to the course. So, subscribe to this podcast, The Love Effect, then visit raffle.stepstofindtruelove.com. Again, that's raffle.stepstofindtruelove.com. Good luck. Now, back to our story about Olivia at the restaurant. Everything seemed to be going fine until the waiter came up, saw the empty chair and said, I'd like to give you guys the check, but I believe the check goes to him. And, his coat was there, but he said, he just went to the restroom. He'll be back in a moment. Well, that moment stretched from 5 minutes to 20 minutes to 45, and it became clear that he was not coming back.
What happened?
He skipped out and left that restaurant. He had an amazing meal. He just left, went to the restroom, did not come back, didn't even stop to get his coat.
Are you
Now,
kidding?
no, I'm not kidding. And so she finally had to accept the bill, which was now $312.
Oh no. It's
Yeah.
no. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, she was stuck. I mean, it was either that or, stay there for the next few days cleaning dishes because a $300 bill is pretty hefty. So she gathered up this man's coat,
And
went
set on
outside.
fire, perhaps, right?
I'm sure she intended to. She had
Okay.
that feeling, I'm sure. She hadn't mentioned that. But she went outside. The valet did confirm that the black Escalade had long since gone. And she had to call an Uber to pick her up from this five-star restaurant to
No.
take her back in the pouring rain to this hotel where she had left her car. Oh,
No.
she was livid. She was livid. But the next day she gets home and she's taking a look at this coat again, and it actually has someone else's name stitched inside the coat.
Okay, hold on.
At least it
So
wasn't the name that she knew him by.
I'm confused. So this guy was such a suave, we're gonna say player, because he played her enough to have not even have on his own jacket. He borrowed
Mhm.
somebody else's jacket.
Right?
Was the car even his? Or was it a rental?
You don't know. You really don't know.
So it sounds like he was one of those that lied about quite a bit of stuff.
Oh, get this. Get this.
Mhm.
So the next evening, he gave her a call and he says to her, "Hey, I went back to the restaurant to get my jacket and they said that you had taken it. Do you still have that jacket?" And she's like, "Well, do you have the money to cover that check?" And he says, "Well, come on, man. That was my friend's coat, and I really need to get it back to him." And she said, "Well, it looks like that coat cost you $312 because that's what I had to pay to cover the bill last night." So he even had the audacity to call her back to see if he can get the coat that he left behind.
No.
Right. Yeah, after that experience, she did not stop going on online dates because, she had actually been really good at this process before, but she also started to realize if I'm going to do online dating, I really need to be more serious and more careful about things. Now, one of the things that we recommend, as you know from our online dating guide, is that first meeting, it should not be anything that you have to commit to. You know, you go to a place like Starbucks or something like that, you can sit down and have a classy conversation over a cup of tea or a coffee, and no one's
Hmm.
committed to anything. If someone decides to up and leave, nobody's stuck with the bill. In fact, if you're sitting there in front of someone that you don't want to spend another minute with, you don't have to wait through the meal to do so. All you have to do is say, "Okay, you know what, this is not working out. I got to go by." And it can be over that quickly. But when you go to a five-star restaurant on that first date, and that's a commitment. It sounded great, but I know Olivia will never do that again. Not on the first date.
Yeah, because I mean, as you like talking about, I'm like, seriously, on the first date you would do that? I mean, it's just, I mean, that's something you would do later on in dating. That would not be on the first date because you don't even know that person yet. To know that it's nice he want to take you to a 5-star restaurant, but get to know the person first before you decide to go ahead and do that because that's, yeah, and then or you get stuck with a check like that. How did he know that she would have even had the money to even pay for the wonderful meal that they had together? So yeah,
Do you think this is the kind of man who cared whether or not she
yeah. Well, no, but she didn't know that not from the first date. I mean, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Olivia's a sweet gal. I really felt bad hearing that story, but she uses it as a yeah, sort of a lessons learned. She's not going to stop dating, but she just has learned to be more careful about how she goes about this dating in 2020 moving forward. So my heart's out for her, but she's working things out.
That's good. That's, I mean, that's what every woman wants is to go on a date like that, but not
You
to be
know,
get stiff like that. That's bad.
we're working on an episode about honesty in a relationship, but actually, there wasn't even a relationship yet. They were in the stage of deciding whether or not there would be a relationship.
True.
And maybe there's some things that you can pick up on by starting to meet someone in person and someone in a setting like a Starbucks or some less committal places to
Hmm.
see how they live up to the things that they say that they are and that they do. You know, in our faith, we have this expression, examine the fruit. And that
Yes.
is, look at the character of someone before you decide who they really are. They can tell you anything, but how they act, the fruit of their spirit, is really what's going to be the determining factor on their character. Well, I think that's it for the story about Olivia. We might do a follow up story one day, talk more about her dating process, but she's in a much better place now that she's got her guard up and has tuned her filter a little bit better for
Yeah,
online dating.
yeah. That's really good that she's doing that because that was not nice.
All right, well, with that, I guess we will sign off for today. Thanks for joining me, Winona, my beautiful wife.
You're welcome, my love.
I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for tuning into The Love Effect. Respectfully, we ask you to hit that subscribe button to help us keep this going. And if you'd really like some detailed guidance on how to find and confirm true love, come visit us at stepstofindtruelove.com. That's www.stepstofindtruelove.com. Blessings to you.